challenged with high moral standards and responsibility in information sharing. The forum seeks to equip media practitioners with ethical values that will add credence as new advocates for population and development. Babakar Kamara, GRTS.
We'll be back with more stories after the break.
What's your AfriCell number?
773.
What's your mobile number?
735.
What's your AfriCell number?
746.
What's your number?
My number is 215. 2?
You mean 72?
No, it's 2, and I am AfriCell 2.
AfriCell 2? Hey, hey!
Yes, 2 is AfriCell 2.
Hey, hey!
AfriCell introduces the new AfriCell series, the number 2.
Welcoming the number 2 to the AfriCell family.
From now on, the AfriCell lines will not only start with the number 7, but also with the number 2.
Get a new AfriCell SIM card now that starts with the number 2.
So now I can get an AfriCell number that starts with the number 2?
Yes, and when you receive a call from a number starting with the number 2, it's one of the new AfriCell lines calling you. My mobile number is 2, and
we are AfriCell 2!
Welcome back. The governor of Nigeria's Kaduna State has imposed a 24-hour curfew following renewed clashes between Muslims and Christians. The attacks happened after a suicide bomber detonated a car bomb in a church, killing at least 20 people and injuring many others. The militant group Boko Haram has claimed responsibility for the attacks. We have details in this report.
The explosion took place Sunday morning at 9:50 a.m. This is when Mass begins at the Shalom Church International in Kaduna. More than 2,000 people were present in the church that serves a Christian community in the town of Kaduna in northern Nigeria. The state, also named Kaduna, is predominantly Muslim. Witnesses said a suicide bomber drove his car into the church, setting off a huge blast. The death toll is not certain yet, but at least 20 people were killed, including the bomber. What he left behind was filmed extensively. On Monday, Boko Haram Islamists claimed responsibility for a series of attacks, they said, on 3 churches in the state, 2 in Zaria and 1 in Kaduna. Kaduna State Governor imposed a 24-hour curfew after the explosion sparked riots as well as clashes between Christians and Muslims, resulting in more bloodshed. An official who preferred to remain anonymous said a total of 52 people died and 150 were wounded.
Mali's interim president is on shuttle diplomacy to neighboring Mauritania. The meeting between Modibo Diarra and Mauritanian President Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz centered on the current security situation in the region, and Maimai rebels leaders have cranked up pressure on embattled DR Congo President Joseph Kabila. Rebel commanders say they will overthrow the Kabila government by September. We have more on those stories and others in this roundup report.
The interim Prime Minister of Mali has made a quick visit to Mauritania. Topping the discussions between Sheikh Modibo Diarra and Mauritanian President Mohamed Ould Abdelaziz was the crisis in North Mali. The visit by Diarra to Nouakchott was one stage in his tour of the region affected by the crisis. It came 48 hours before the meeting that ECOWAS mediator Blaise Compaoré had arranged with the radical Islamic Ansar Din group that controls most of North Mali. Mai rebels have become increasingly vocal in putting pressure on the government of DR Congo. From Kanyabayonga in the east of the country, they have called on President Joseph Kabila to leave office. Colonel Albert Kahasha, the rebel commander, said that the head of the Congolese state had lost the support of the people and has little control over the army. The Mai said they intend to overthrow Kabila before September if he does not step down. Hospital sources in Libya say that at least 62 people have been killed and 137 others wounded in 7 days of fighting around the towns of Chegiga and Mesda. The extremely violent fighting was between 2 rival tribes in the west of the country. The government ordered the army to use force and whatever means necessary to stop the fighting in the region.
The Muslim Brotherhood is celebrating what it says is their candidate's victory in the second round of voting. Rival candidate Ahmed Shafiq contests the Muslim Brotherhood's claims. Hundreds of supporters belonging to the Islamist group stormed Tahrir Square celebrating their victory. We have more on that in this report.
In Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood announced that its candidate had won the presidential election even before all the votes had been counted. Mohamed Morsi seems to be in a hurry to take office.
I congratulate the Egyptians. I promise to act like a brother to them, like a father to them, and like one of them who has known the same problems and worries, and I will work to serve them.
Hundreds of supporters gathered in Tahrir Square to celebrate as soon as the announcement was made. But now they expect rapid changes.
This is the first civilian president. Now we are no longer governed by the military. The country is on the right path. Mohamed Morsi should raise concerns over unemployment, the demands of young people, and housing for those people who need housing and want to get married and who want to enjoy a decent life.
Former Prime Minister Ahmed Shafiq's camp rejected the Muslim Brotherhood's self-proclaimed victory. The Shafiq campaign accused the Muslim Brotherhood of deceiving people by declaring victory and said they were using false figures. Vote counting continues across the country, and definitive results are expected by June 21st at the latest. The Supreme Council of the Armed Forces has promised to respect the power of the new head of state.
The elected president will be handed all powers vested in the power of the president, the head of the executive authority, with complete authority. With all due respect, he will be the head of state.
The president is supposed to be handed power by June 30th. However, the Army's announcement comes just as the same generals gave the military new powers, including control over the legislative branch of government.
It's now time for the weather report by the Central Forecast Office.
The source assures us of a continuous flow, and from there, everything follows. And for those of us who know what the River Gambia stands for, understanding its sustainability in all aspects of life is easily confirmed. The River Gambia provides nutritious delicacies as food, while it provides its wildlife a balanced ecosystem. This river, as a sanctuary, is committed to its inhabitants' needs without season. And as you travel along, all these values are replicated in one company, Elton, just like the River Gambia, leads in its commitment to values that matter most. Elton, championing the vision for a new generation.
Good evening and welcome to the weather segment. We begin with a quick summary of today's weather followed by the forecast. It's been mainly warm and sunny across the Gambia. For what next, let's start with a look at the satellite image captured at 16:30 hours, indicating clear skies and stable conditions over the north and the southern part of the continent. The Gulf of Guinea states were however characterized by dense convective cloud development, and similar conditions were also observed over the central and the eastern part of the continent. The Senegambia area is characterized by some cloud development. This will further propagate and affect parts of the country in the hours to come. Therefore, for our forecast tonight, we are expecting a partly cloudy to cloudy atmosphere across the country. It will also be breezy. There are chances of isolated rain and thunderstorms over places. Day tomorrow will start with a fairly humid and partly cloudy atmosphere, with rain and thunderstorms affected over parts of the country. Winds will continue to be westerly in orientation, but generally light to moderate in speed. Morning temperature values will be 24 degrees Celsius over Banjul, Yundum, also over Genoy. We are expecting 23 degrees Celsius over Kerawan and Sibano. Elsewhere over the country will be 23 or 26 degrees Celsius tomorrow morning. Top temperatures will be 32 degrees Celsius over Banjul. Yundum will be 33 degrees Celsius. We are expecting 34 degrees Celsius over Kerawan, Sibano. Genoy will record 36 degrees Celsius, as well as Kaur, Sapo, and Jenjamburi. Basay and Fatoto will be 37 degrees Celsius warm tomorrow afternoon. For the benefit of our sailors and fishermen, we are expecting low tides of 0.31 meters at 22 minutes past 3 in the morning and 0.38 meters at